Hello everyone, my name is Jaybird and welcome back to Lake of Voices. This one. I find that I've been pacing back and forth for quite some time. I'm overcome with restlessness. This island may be safer than the bridges, but that is far from enough to ease the mind. I quietly sigh and decide to wait on my own. If I go back now, whoever I encounter will know that I don't want to be alone. That is more troubling than simply staying where I am. I sit down and silently listen to the ambience of the island as I wait for time to pass. I can only hope this will all end before I can no longer keep myself together. The sun begins to descend in the sky and the light starts to fade into the fog. I feel relieved that it is almost time to leave this island. A chill slips down my spine at the thought of what comes next, however. It isn't too long before I hear someone approaching from within the brush. It's the guide. He emerges from the bushes and steps out into the open.
Hello.
He doesn't respond to my greeting. Instead, he narrows his eyes, causing the tension to rise that much further.
Lou is gone. He's dead.
Fuck. I nearly fall backwards from his words.
What?
Seconds tick by and the guide says nothing as my panic pounds higher, harder, and takes full control of my mind. That is not possible. No, this is a mistake.
We have to go look for him.
I would not claim this without good reason. Wait and you'll see. Night will fall and Lou will not come to meet us.
Oh god.
We are the only two remaining.
Fuck. I do sink down to the ground at that. All my thoughts, the sound of my breath coming in and out of my very heartbeat, forming two letters. No. No, no. No, no. No, 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 no. I don't know how to... No, no. I cut my hands against my head. Why? I look up to the towering, stoic face of the guide, begging for an explanation. Something, anything but this. He gives no comfort. My tears start and stop from one moment to the next with my wildly tumultuous emotions. I am in brutal agony, bawling my eyes out and shouting indecipherably. What? Okay. Then I am feeling nothing, laying in the cool void where everything seems inconsequential and so far away from me. Bemele, Margaret, Lou. The heartbeat comes back. I have failed. I failed them. I failed every single one of them. I couldn't help anyone. I sniff back deeply, tears falling down my face once more. I manage a small miracle. I stand. The guide says nothing. I'm left with just my own thoughts and the heartbeat softly drumming as we wait for the torturous bridges to surface. My god, this is fucking depressing. I lean against a tree, slowly reminding myself how to walk again as time runs by too fast or drags on too slow. A blanket of stars slowly creeps over the horizon. As the day truly descends into night, I still hold on to a desperate, unreasonable flicker of hope that eventually Lou will appear through the bushes, ready to continue the journey. He never does. My hope is blown out by the wind rushing across the lake. Suddenly there is a gurgling. The water parts as the bridges of Sinlos rise, powered by some unnatural force, creaking like they might fall apart. We walk onto the wide open shore. Thick, inky water sloshes reluctantly off of the boards, bleeding back into the lake until finally it stills. I feel an inexplicable pounding like a hammer in the back of my head, beating faster and heavier than my own heart. I clench my teeth to stop it from churning my stomach. The guide is quick to return to the bridges, making haste towards them. That gets my attention.
The island is no longer safe now that the sun has set. We must leave.
I understand what he is saying. Still, I return my attention to the lake. For a moment I listened to the near silence of the water, steeling myself for what is to come. Then I placed my feet firmly onto the dock. Against what any natural instincts would advise me, I have returned to the misty labyrinth of bridges. I tried to synchronize my inhalations with my footfalls to steady my breathing. The guide and I make no attempts to converse with one another. We are as quiet as the lake we are crossing. ... It feels as though barely any time has passed when I realize that half the night has crept by. We encountered a few sunken bridges which forced us to reroute, while other paths were rotten enough to make us stagger our steps. However, the biggest threat of all is eerily absent, the prowlers. I haven't seen more than shadowy glimpses of them down other paths, and even those may have simply been tricks of the fog. I feel I may be even more on edge tonight than the last. I wonder whether they're still weary from the consuming blaze that lit up the night yesterday, or if there are less dragging themselves across the bridges than usual because many have already gotten what they wanted. My skin crawls with the touch of icy fingers at the thought, and I can't control the sharp shiver that travels down my spine. I look ahead towards the guide pensively before coming to a decision.
Where might the prowlers be?
He doesn't respond. Perhaps he didn't hear me? I debate whether to repeat my question or not before he suddenly replies.
Allowing others to die is an easy path to follow. It is keeping them alive that makes it so difficult for one to cross Sinmos.
That isn't an answer to my question. Its vagueness feels intentional. His avoidance doesn't stop the horrifying realization from coming to my mind. I still live because they died. This isn't right. I try to swallow, but my mouth is a desert. It shouldn't have happened like this. I promised I would protect everyone, not benefit from their deaths. Every step on the damp wood, my feet feel more like lead. I feel the weight of them on my feet, like I am dragging their remains with me as they wonder why we could not help them. My body moves unbidden, unable to stop even with my thoughts in tatters. The notion that something might still be out there, that all of this could come to an end calls me onward. After hours of navigating the complex maze of bridges, the faint silhouette of the shore creeps into view. My eyes widen at the sight. It is almost unbelievable that we could have come this far. The guide increases his pace, and I cautiously follow suit. We near the very end of the bridges. I can smell the trees and the earth, and even through the fog I can almost count the remaining bridges between us and land. But between the end and us, a prowler appears. I eye the monster intently. It makes no move to leave us, so I turn to the guide instead.
Here, take my lantern. Once it's scared off, we'll make our way to the shore. It shouldn't be an issue with it so close by.
The guide says nothing, however, he extends his hand to accept my offer. I feel my body tense for a moment before relinquishing my light to the guide. It's not much farther. I'm sure we can make it. The guide slowly steps ahead. He and the creature brace for confrontation. I stay close enough to the guide's back to keep from being left behind in the darkness. He quietly whispers,
Be ready to run. Don't get left behind.
He then darts forward and launches the light directly at the prowler. It makes a snarling hiss as it retreats defeated back into the black waters. Neither of us wastes even a second looking back. We push forward. I race across the bridges, desperately trying to keep the guide's light-edged figure in clear sight. I run as fast as I can possibly manage without slipping on the boards. We run across the entire way, spurred on by the shoreline rapidly approaching. Miraculously, I feel my feet plunge into dirt. I stumble forwards, nearly collapsing onto the ground while trying to catch my breath. It feels as though I've come out of a long dream. We made it. After a moment of processing everything that just happened and pulling myself together, I rise fully to my feet and stand tall. I turn back towards the lake. Fog drifts across the empty, stagnant waters, as menacing as when I first laid eyes on it. I can't bear to tear my eyes from the sight. It's as though reality halts as I stare deeply at the surface. I shake away the sensation. I'm alive. I've made it across, and now I will be able to unite the villagers and remove the brigadiers. But at what cost? My mind turns over itself. I can still faintly feel wet, rigid hands on my ankle, a ghostly reminder of the Nixie. I know the hands are not real, but that doesn't loosen their grip. My feelings simmer beneath my own surface, fighting for dominance. Gratitude, anger, relief, guilt, hope, and sorrow are battling inside of me. They pull in so many different directions at once that I can't even think. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. My turmoil abruptly ends at the sound of the guide's voice.
You can't stay.
I finally rip my eyes away from the lake. I fix them instead directly on the guide.
There is nothing left for you here. You must return to the world and leave this place behind.
All of my words are stuck sorely in my throat. I'm completely parched and my mouth is threatening to close in on itself. He fills the silence once more.
I expect to never see you again.
The guide looks at me harshly, almost pleadingly, as he gazes into my eyes. All I can offer is a slow, weak nod. I don't want this to be the way things are. I can't accept it. I'm consumed by a whirlpool of thoughts. I wasn't able to help anyone. I'm entirely alone. As I continue to stare at the guide, tears well up in my eyes and threaten to spill over. He gives me no acknowledgement at all. I wipe the feeling from my face completely. I must continue on. I have no other choice left before me. On quaking legs, I march forward solemnly into the forest. I do not look back even once at the cursed lake during my retreat. However, I offer one last word.
Farewell.
I whisper softly, almost silently. It's a bitter farewell to all those who failed to escape the darkness and are forever lost. I can scarcely remember the rest of the trip. All I know for sure is that I did arrive in Hemmer in time to help. They were grateful to see me, for it was a desperate situation indeed. The urgency meant that my mind was occupied with other matters. I worked tirelessly to aid Hemmer's own guards in forcing back the brigadiers, but during the moments of calm and when the sun went down, I would remember the lake. The villagers were alarmed when I arrived on my own, but it did not take them too long to guess what must have happened to Bemele. Soon their suspicions of what transpired were confirmed, as leaders in the community need to be made aware of what occurs on Sinlos in case they have lost one of their own. The townsfolk were deeply sympathetic towards me after learning that I was there to witness 3 souls being lost to the dark waters. It was a slight comfort. The guilt at my failure remained sharp even still. I have not heard nor seen the guide since then. He will remain obscured in that realm of fog and fear, a mysterious light off in the distance that is ever out of reach of the real world. I know that I will return to my village soon. Despite my own feelings, I must not let them know how this journey has affected me. I need to be strong. There is no other way. Achievement unlocked! Death! Fun times! My god, my voice is dying and I don't know why. Anyways. We can do another thing. We can start. Let's start. Oh. We only have so little left to do, and then we'll be actually done with this game, I think. So let's start a new game. Say nothing. Okay. I believe we should go.
And I believe you.
We're going to nod seriously. Now we're going to pull Bemele forward. And then we're gonna kick it off. And then.
So you're staying behind?
Now we're going to turn. Now we're going to do nothing. I'm going to speak with the guide. I ball my hands into fists, steel my will, and start advancing in the direction the guide went. I push my way. I see the guide with his back towards me. I didn't try to be quiet as I approached. He must have heard me.
You haven't asked me to leave. Does that mean I can speak to you?
You may say what you like.
When he turns to face me, one feeling comes to the forefront of my mind. Sadness. I feel the tears well in my eyes. After all that's happened, the people who have died, how am I even supposed to talk to someone like him? He does not even seem concerned. He does not seem to care about anything.
Why can't I be more like you?
My voice is soft, but by his raised eyebrow, it seems the guide heard me.
I do not want to feel pain or sadness anymore. I'm so tired. I wish I could feel nothing at all.
My head droops and I cover my face and cry.
How are you able to go through this every day? Is it nothing more than becoming used to it? I have seen death so many times since becoming a guard, and even before that I was familiar with loss, yet it still hurts so much. The sting has not dulled at all. I have simply learned to hide it better. And now it seems I cannot even do that.
I cannot stop sobbing. The tears just continue to fall. His disinterest strangely makes it easier to let my true self show. Although he remains silent, I can still feel the guide near me. He has not abandoned me here. Oh. He kinda cute though. Not gonna lie. He kinda cute though. After some time, I manage to stifle the tears and look up at him. His eyes are distant, looking out across the expanse of Sinlos.
You do not need practice. You need a new perspective. You can see 1,000 deaths and still feel pain at each one, so long as they hold meaning for you.
How can I do otherwise? Losing one's life is a tragedy.
There are people dying even as we speak. You do not care about them.
I do not have to see those with my own eyes.
But you can still decide that those deaths are not relevant to you. Or perhaps you choose to feel that whether a person dies sooner or later makes no difference. Or even that death is to be preferred over life in this world. At least they have peace. Their death may even be beneficial to others. Any such idea would be fine. Pick what is easiest for you to swallow.
It sounds so cold, but he is simply giving what I asked for. I'm not able to stop myself from inquiring further.
What is your perspective?
He pauses a moment in thought.
The villages in this area pay me so that I am able to stay and lead people when needed. But making a living is not the reason I do so. Neither is it so I can help those who wish to cross. I stay here so that I can make certain as few people attempt the journey as possible.
What?
Yeah, what?
I have decided to believe that I make a difference in the amount of those who come in contact with Sinlos. So long as I am here, others rarely try to cross on their own. They either wait for the few trips I am able to make, or don't go at all. I can also turn someone away if I feel they are unfit. My one hope in this life is that someday people will never attempt to cross the bridges again.
For a moment, I can feel the genuine emotion in his words.
It is a futile dream, I know. It is impossible to convince everyone.
Then the feelings are gone.
For those who do insist upon going, well, if their life is worth risking to save a few days of travel time, then it isn't worth very much at all. Understand?
Yes.
Fine.
He closes his eyes and thoughtlessly brushes a few loose strands of his hair back behind his ear. He seems to be losing some of his patience. For some reason, it is hard for me to see the guide acting so normal. It makes me realize how I never truly saw him for what he was. It's not your fault.
What?
The guy turns back to me, incredulous.
I didn't want someone to die. I didn't.
My words get choked behind tears.
But you're just a man. You cannot do more than anyone else. You cannot fix what is wrong with these bridges, or stop dangers from appearing, or make it so people will not have reasons to cross. You simply do what you can, like anyone else.
I feel anger begin to mix with my sorrow.
It is the world that needs to change, not you. No matter what choice you make, there will be suffering and hardships. All this time, I said I did not wish to leave anyone alone. But I have done so from the beginning. You are not my enemy.
The guide stares at me blankly. It seems as though he may be intentionally stripping himself of the human qualities he showed moments before.
We are not allies either. We are merely two strangers, walking the same path.
Regardless, I will be there for you.
Again, he watches me without speaking.
You should protect yourself.
He moves from me to stare across the water. The conversation is over. No matter, I will be strong for the both of us.
I'm going to see how everything is on the island.
As I turn and leave, I feel comforted that, at least in a small way, I understand the guide better. I head through the wooded part of the island. There isn't anything that could be called a path, but I managed to pick my way through the bush quite well. Oh my god, my voice is dying! Anyway, guys. With that being said, if you guys enjoyed this episode of Lake of Voices and would like to see more of this game, then leave a like down below, leave a comment down below, share with your friends, subscribe if you haven't, ring that notification bell, and remember, die safely. Bye-bye!